Hello, Austin here. I hope that you're okay and that the virus hasn't hit you too hard. And on top of that, you haven't had any other bad luck. You should be watching this film because you think you're coming to Spain with me to do something in September in about 2 months' time. If you want to withdraw or cancel or something like that, I'd encourage you not to, but that's fine. But this film is just going to cover a few things that are true for everyone, whether they're doing a Vince, a Mini Mondo, or a Marriott Mondo, now known as Motel Mondo, after a fairly strongly worded letter from their legal department. So, after this film, you will get a group mail-out, MailChimp newsletter thing that is particular to your event. Okay, so there'll be quite a few questions about your event that might not be answered in what I'm about to say, but in the broadest sense, hopefully I will answer a lot of questions, and there's about 150 of you who are kind of do something with me this September. So, first off, insurance. Some people have been worried that their travel insurance might not be valid or be invalidated by the fact that they're going to a foreign country, or this counts as unnecessary travel or something like that. So, I interceded and have been working with an American travel insurance company called Global Rescue. They've had a link on my website for a year or two now, but I've just put the phone down to them literally this afternoon, and they have crafted and created a bespoke Austin Vince type big scale adventures policy for you. And here's what's in it. It will be somewhere between about $230 and $280, depending on your age. Incredibly, older people are a higher risk, apparently. And it'll definitely be less than $300 US. And what you will get is $100,000 of evacuation services, and that could be in many phases. For example, a helicopter off the mountain, and then later on maybe a private jet to fly you somewhere, or not on holiday, or if you can't fly, as can be the case with some lung issues, they will arrange an overland evacuation for you. So that's $100,000 worth of that, and then $150,000 worth of medical expenses in country, notionally in Spain, in a Spanish hospital if something happens to you. The good news is the Global Rescue have as their start point the fact that this policy that they've created is, of course, for us doing the Vince, the Mini Mondo and the Moto Mondo and all that stuff. So they expect you to be dirt biking, off-road, in the heat, in Spain, in the mountains, in a wilderness area. So there'll be no quibbling around, and they expect you to be doing this now, or September. Okay, so there'll be no small print that says, oh, this doesn't cover X, Y, and Z. Okay, of course, if they're insurers, there will be some small print saying it doesn't cover X, Y, and Z, but the X, Y, and Z shouldn't be the things that we're actually going to do. So I think that's a fantastic opportunity to avail yourself of some cover that means that you're not going to find that the pandemic, so to speak, and its aftermath gets in the way of getting you home if something goes wrong. Second thing, the people who make the maps are in kind of a sort of meltdown or a state of alarm or a state of inactivity or something, but it's proving very difficult to get hold of the maps. More of that later when you get your individual newsletters. Quarantine. Now, I don't, at the moment, I'm sure, like the rest of you actually, it's hard to keep up with what the latest quarantine ideas are. As I understand it, we are absolutely, at the moment, and therefore hopefully by extension in September, unless there's a second lockdown, we are allowed to go into Spain. The border is open, and it wasn't only a few weeks ago in that it was militarily blocked. You couldn't drive from France into Spain, whoever you were. So now it's open. Obviously, there was a few conversations with a few buddies about them sealing the border, but us sneaking in with some two top secret little routes that we knew about that the authorities assumed nobody will use that old canyon. And anyway, so we're not going to do that. everything is legit and above board, and a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, do you think you're going to, be able to do the things to do the events in Spain and all that stuff?" Which I think is a very unrobust question, because if we're allowed to do it, then we're going to do it, and if we're not allowed to do it, then we won't do it, and we're not going to sail close to the wind or take any risks. Right, hotel. The Hotel Villars Rurals in Arnes, which is where we're going for the navigation events, they have a full COVID strategy in place. They are they're the biggest hotel chain that we've ever worked with. They are taking it all deadly seriously, and there'll be no corners cut with that lot. They're used to having families in as their bread and butter, family groups in kind of like Pontins, or hopefully better actually, but Pontins style holiday camps, but using the whole resort and the pool and all that stuff. So they are totally geared up for safe hospitality. In all of the hotel rooms, we normally operate a twin room system. I'm hoping that if you're prepared to travel out with someone, either in a van or even just on motorbikes, you're prepared to share a room with that person. I won't be asking anybody to share a room with somebody who they're not already associated with. So no strangers or anything like that. Like sometimes we have to, but we've got plenty of room at the hotels this year, so there shouldn't be any problems. Please don't start asking for single rooms until maybe a bit closer to the time. All of the rates and everything like that we negotiate are on the expectation that it's twin rooms. If you want to pay more money to have a single room, that I'm sure that's possible. But if you can bear not to, it makes the whole thing easier. Right, the refund situation. Because of the pandemic, I've totally waived and dissolved my no refunds after deposit type policy. So if you want your money back, you can have it. And then hopefully I'll get it back from you next year. If you are doing something with me and you just want to defer for a year because you're not sure about going out to Spain in September, that's fine. I think that will be a shame. And I don't think, from everything I can think of, I don't think it's going to be dangerous. Put it another way, I think the idea of motorcycling off-road in Spain is probably about 10,000 times more dangerous than catching the virus, as somebody who's had it. But it does vary. The reactions vary enormously from person to person, so you'll have your own reasons. Right. If for this September you want a refund, that's fine. However, I am only going to make you that offer until midnight on the last day of July, which is in about 3 weeks. Okay, so after that, if you decide you don't want to come, I'm afraid I won't be giving you your money back. And I hope that we don't have to go to war over that. It's simply, if you're just me organising all this stuff, which I am, it's not possible to create events on the scale, the ambitious scale that I do, if I do all the work and spend all the money creating the event, and then you say I'm going to come, and then at the last minute say actually I'm not going to come, and you get your money back, because then I'll be ruined. Then I can't do it again. You see, I can't. There won't be a events or a minimum or whatever anymore. I'll be back teaching. So I think that's my post-it note of things to mention. The link for the travel insurance will come in your newsletter, which will come after this film, probably early next week. The other small thing is that for the navigation events, for the first time ever, we'll be providing all of the guff and the paper electronically. We'll also provide some of it in paper as well, so that's a belt and braces approach. But that will all be done through Google Docs and the old OneDrive and all that stuff. And you'll be able to download maps and the checkpoint booklet and the notes and the schematic and all that stuff. You'll be able to download them at home and get them absolutely at the highest res, ready to go and all that jazz. That should hopefully be enormously useful. And it was not cheap to get the maps scanned on an A0 scanner to the highest resolution possible. The files are like 2 gig per map. Right, I think that's everything. Don't please send me an email or ask me a question after watching this film. Wait till you get your second mail out that's about your event in particular. And if once you've read that, you think, oh, he didn't answer that question I've got, then please fire it in and I'm, of course, at your service. All right. Hopefully we can have a really great September and salvage something from, obviously, something that's been a pretty rotten year for a lot of people. Okay, over and out.